Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Deacon, and welcome to my incredible podcast. Now, before we commence any further, do not forget to smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, share this with your boys, recommend my channel to everybody that you know, follow me on Instagram, and of course, as always, enjoy. Let's get started. Our top story today shall be who should pay on the first date. Now, in this episode of The Real, these four hostesses came together at the round table and discussed in deep detail as to who should pay on the first date. Now, this 23-year-old female named Amanda Burnett went out on a first date with a guy. She wasn't really into him in the first place, and after the date was over, I shit you not, ladies and gentlemen, this guy had the balls of steel to mail her an invoice of the bill showing the details of the food and drinks that she ordered. I shall repeat that again. Food and drinks that she ordered, okay? In addition to that, he even went as far as to threaten her that if she did not pay up for the bill she created, he would send a copy of that invoice to a collection agency. Imagine that. So here's what we shall do. Let us sit down together, and I suggest you grab something to eat and drink, and I shall voice my opinion on this particular matter. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hit it.
Usually when a girl goes on a first date with a guy, she expects him to pay the bill, right? Not send her one. A 23-year-old woman named Amanda Burnett recently went on a date with a man and wasn't really feeling him. When she didn't return his text after the date, he got in touch with her in another way by sending her an invoice for the food and drinks she ordered on the date. Amanda was billed $40 for her Moscow Mule, beer, and the pulled pork tacos she ordered. And get this, you guys, he also sent her a text saying if she didn't pay, he would take the invoice to a collection agency. Wow. He just sounds bitter.
Okay, so we need to pause it right here and start discussing this, okay? First, above all, when I first saw this video, I said to myself, like, was this some sort of prank or stunt that he pulled? Or did he mean that for real? Because either way, that was a funny way to get some revenge. Just look at this hostess's face reacting to this story. Like, look how shocked and distraught she is. Judging by that face, you just instantly know that she was just not happy with this situation. And this is what happens when these females get a dose of reality. This is what happens when you encounter a real man who is actually not a pussy and stood up against you, and through his actions, he demonstrated that, hey, I refuse to pay for the shit you ordered. This is your bill. You pay for your shit. Anything that I order, I pay for my shit. So let me say this one thing very clearly, okay? As men, we do not have a problem extending the courtesy to pay for the bill. However, ladies, do not, I repeat, do not automatically assume for 1 second that you are entitled to some special treatment just because you're a female and that you can just live the easy high life, okay? That is an unacceptable mindset to adopt, and the behavior that you display that is congruent to that mindset will not be taken lightly. We will take that as a direct threat and as an insult, okay? We're living in a time and place where men in general are just tired of being used as a free meal ticket, and you females need to accept that. Y'all females need to learn how to treat us men as equals. Plain and simple. Let's continue.
Ladies, do you think Amanda should pay the bill?
I would pay him $45 back to get out of my life, all right?
What?
That will be the best $45 she ever spent. Because let me tell you, thank God she never wanted to go on a second date with him. He just showed his true colors of who he really is.
Whoa, hold up. He showed his true colors, or she showed her true colors? Let's not forget, she was the one that ordered all of the food and drinks. What did he order? Well, according to the bill and what the first hostess said nothing. Okay? So, how does that statement make sense? It doesn't. I do not believe I said this ever, so I'm going to say this right now. Most of these females just simply choose not to take ownership of where they're fucking up. They like to point their fingers at the men and say, it's the men's fault that I had to pay a $40 bill for all the shit I ordered. Just stop bitching and complaining about the fact that you have to pay for your share of the deal. Simple as that. Let's proceed.
If you were a really good guy, like even if the girl didn't give you a first shot, one, you could continue to be persistent, or also just take the L and be classy about it. Be like, man, it didn't work out, all good. I got to spend some time with her. She wasn't feeling me like that, and move on.
Just take the L, be classy about it, and move on. Hold up. Wait a fuck, okay? I would have never gone out with a female that is not interested in me in the first place, okay? Let's start with that. If you're going to spend your time, let alone your money, on a date, as a man, you have to make sure that the female really digs you and is truly into you. Don't waste your time and your money on some female that is using you as a free meal ticket just because she is bored and would rather go out with a guy she ain't into because, hey, it's better than sitting at home staring at the four walls, and who knows, maybe I'll meet somebody during the date and I will ditch that guy that I'm not into so he could pay for that bill so I don't have to pay a single cent, and I could ditch the guy for some other guy that I really dig. Listen, gentlemen, I am pleading with you. Listen to me on what I'm about to say. Even though not all females are like this, I would say over half of American females are just like that. If you want to call them gold diggers, that's up to you, but I like to call them fucking parasites. Okay? As a lot of you gentlemen know, these are the type of females that may have money issues, struggling to pay their rent, and etc. And so what they will do is they will go out there and find guys that have their shit together and will use them for the resources that they have, like money, fancy apartment that they can move in, fancy cars that they can drive, and so forth. They will manipulate guys just for their personal gain. So gentlemen, please do not fall for some hoe that is not into you. Please understand that every single one of you men out there is worth gold. You are worth diamonds. You are worth so much more than you can possibly imagine. Love yourself. Respect yourself. Okay? And the sad thing about that is that these females cannot see that. They're so retarded to the point that all they care about are themselves. And it's a shame that most females are like this. Just keep that in mind as we continue through this video.
My girlfriend just told me that she went out on a date. Went out to dinner. The guy asked her if he would come home with her later on that night. She said no.
Oh, my God.
He Ubered her home, and then the next day asked her to Venmo back the amount of the Uber. And it just made me think, are men out there taking you out to dinner, which is very nice, by the way, but are you expecting something in return, and if you don't get that, then you're being a shady fool and you're asking for your money back because you really only want one thing.
I know she did not just say that. Okay, let's break this down and simplify, okay? It's called a transaction. As men, we expect to get the full package. We expect you to spread your legs for us, and we bang you as long as we want to. We do what we want to do, okay? We expect you to be compliant, submissive, and appreciative. So females, you have two options. And this is something that Tom Leykis said on his radio station a long time ago. Either shut up and F me or get out. Those are your two options. There are no alternative options besides those. There's no debate. There is no making new rules for me to follow. Either shut up and F me every day and every night or get out. And besides, I do not lose anything whatsoever if you leave. Nothing. I do not lose money. I do not lose my place or anything for that matter because I am not in a relationship with you, let alone married to you, thank God. At the end of the day, I am the man of the house. I am in charge. And so are the real men that are sending this exact same message to you. We expect that you put out like a good girl, and it is not an option. You don't want to give us what we want. Get out and never come back. Just stop wasting my time and go. Let's proceed.
I would, but actually didn't want to assume that of men.
I pray they do this so that you don't end up marrying them or being with them or wasting your time with a loser like that.
Right.
Now you know what they're really.
What?
Yeah, you have to be grateful that they're showing their true colors. They're showing you they're terrible human beings. And at Marie19 said, not texting back is a childish move. Act like an adult and tell him that you're just not into him. As for the guy, he needs to grow up and be a gentleman.
Well, yeah, because he was upset because
She ghosted.
Yeah, she
which is
ghosted
not cool.
him.
Alrighty, so this is the part where the discussion gets real deep. So we're going to break this down very carefully. Let's start off with how Amanda handled the situation. First things first, as a woman, if you're not into the guy you're going out with, do not be afraid to say that you're just not into him and to wish nothing but the best for him. Secondly, to the females out there, don't you dare go out with a guy you're not into, start ordering a bunch of stuff from the menu while he's ordering very little to nothing and expect him to pay for everything. Like, where in the fuck is the equality? Where? I'll tell you where. Nowhere, okay? Then after the date, you decide to ghost him? Like, where the fuck are your manners? So, to be honest with you, half of me is telling me that this female got what she deserved, where he threatened her to pay for the bill, and if not, he'll take that shit to a collection agency. However, the other half of me is saying that he may have taken things beyond the limit. Honestly, I'm not sure at this point if he did the right thing or not. So, gentlemen, this is why I'm encouraging you to read the subtle signs on the woman that you're going out with and make sure that she's into you. She's asking you questions. She's getting closer to you. She's not looking anywhere else but at you. She's touching you, and all these things matter. Please do not go out with a female that does not dig you. Just let all of these things process in your mind as we proceed.
Go ahead.
Going back to ghosting, though, it is really actually rude to ghost. The fact that it's become so common that we actually have a term for it now, and being a person who's perused the dating apps, there are actually dating apps now based on whether it'll fine you or punish you for ghosting somebody.
Well, when I was in the service, I used to use Bumble a lot, and I would remember that most females that I came across in that app just had a tendency of ghosting almost every single guy that they came across. But to come up with an algorithm that is designed to detect how often you ghost somebody and then get punished for it, well, I like that idea. I just don't know how you're going to be able to come up with something like that.
You get an expiration
Like a
date.
fine. Wow, what is the fine?
Like if somebody, they'll take you off of your membership for a little bit, or you're timed out, you don't get to swipe. But if you don't give somebody a response back, then they'll let you know that you're not being active in this community.
So let's go back to the basics, okay? Firstly, ghosting somebody is absolutely rude. I agree. Matter of fact, I shall make a confession to all of you right now. Not only have I been ghosted before during my high school and college days, but I also have ghosted some females before, okay? I have done it before. And I would say one of the common reasons as to why men and women ghost each other in the first place is because we fear that the other person is way more into you than you are into the other person. All of you are more than welcome to agree or disagree on anything that I say, just FYI. We eventually pick up on the signs that the other person is possibly needy or overpossessive. Therefore, they resort to the worst option possible, ghosting. I personally believe that ghosting someone is disrespectful and it just makes the situation worse. And it's not okay because it'll only end up hurting the other person. During a time like this, not only is the word ghosting a term, it's kind of like a tradition.
Yeah, and I
that's
actually
good.
like that because it's not cool to leave somebody hanging. It's
Yeah.
a world of love out there. People are trying to find love.
Yes.
Don't play the game if you don't know the rules. To be honest with you,
Yes.
I don't want to lead you on, and I
Perfect.
personally don't feel like I would move further than just last night. Thank you so much for a good time.
That's great.
There we go.
Well, at least that's a better thing to say other than ghosting the other person. At least she's trying to let the guy down easy. That's a much better option than hurting the other person by leaving them hanging. That's just not cool. Well, anyway, those are my thoughts on this video. In conclusion, remember, gentlemen, if you're out on a date, make sure that the female's into you. Read the subtle signs and make sure she gives you what you want, not what she wants, because you are in charge, not her. This is your show. You have the wheel of the car, not her. You rule the world. And remember, the world is yours. This concludes this episode of my incredible podcast. So thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed this, make sure to Hulk smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, share this with your boys, recommend my channel to everybody that you know. Follow me on Instagram, and every single one of you have a wonderful and blessed day. Peace out.